33,000 people have died in Gaza. More bombs have been dropped there than were dropped in the whole of the Iraq War. This weekend's horrific events show just how dangerous it is that there's going to be an escalation into war across the whole region. Does the Prime Minister recognise that the central kernel to the whole issue across the region is the continued Israeli occupation of Palestine? What will he say about bringing about an end to that occupation and a permanent ceasefire?
Hello everyone, welcome back to My Left Eye. That was of course Jeremy Corbyn there speaking sense in Parliament today, though the same can't be said for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak as the tension in the Middle East escalates. Following back and forth attacks between Israel and Iran, Sunak and Joe Biden amongst other world leaders have urged Israel not to retaliate against Iran, but at the same time Sunak and others have had some sort of selective amnesia about Israel's recent attack on an Iranian consulate which killed diplomats and military personnel. This act was also a flagrant breach of international law. Many are also questioning why the UK is sending the armed forces to directly defend Israel territory, as well as whether the UK's role in arming a state committing a collective punishment via genocide and famine is outside of legal boundaries, though ask any Tory and they'll either dodge the question or say that it's only illegal in a limited and specific way, I'd imagine. Zara Sultana also grilled Sunak on those issues in Parliament today, but as I just said, despite the favourable size of his audio receptors, he seemed to have not heard the question and waffled on like the crossbreed of Tony Blair and Roland Rat that he is. Let's see what happened there.
It was recently revealed that the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee told a private fundraising event, and I quote, "The Foreign Office has received official legal advice that Israel has broken international humanitarian law, but the government has not announced it." So I have a very simple question for the Prime Minister, and if he can't answer that, if he dodges and if he deflects, our constituents will know that he is hiding the truth. Was the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee telling the truth, yes or no?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to address this very clearly. We have one of the most robust arms export licensing control regimes in the entire world. We have previously assessed that Israel is committed and capable of complying with IHL, but we regularly review our assessment, as she would expect. As the Foreign Secretary confirmed last week, the UK position on export licences is unchanged, and following the latest assessment is in line with our legal advice. We will keep that position under review and act in accordance with advice. And I would also point out to her that actually most like-minded countries have not suspended their existing arms export licences to Israel.
You just can't help but notice that any time a Tory says, "Let me be clear,"
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to address this very clearly.
that the next thing to protrude from the oral cavity will be nothing short of absolute deflective garbage, and that's exactly what Zara correctly predicted there. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has sought to intervene in this potentially escalating situation in the Middle East, telling Netanyahu that he should, quote, "consider his response carefully," end quote, and to, quote, "take the win," in reference to the efficacy of their defences repelling around 95% of the missiles. But some think that Israel's hubris and fanaticism will be too much to stop them from making another attack on Iran that could see the conflict spreading into a regional war, as Israel previously also antagonised and attacked other surrounding nations, including Lebanon, where militant group Hezbollah are based. You'll remember it was reported last week that Israeli troops have pulled out of southern Gaza, bar one battalion. That might have been to bolster forces in the north as it prepares for what could be a war on multiple fronts for Israel to handle at the same time, and that could have disastrous consequences. Israel will also see this as something that could distract from the humanitarian crisis in Palestine, which Netanyahu has been heavily scrutinised for over recent months, as well as facing internal pressure from citizens unhappy with his failure to have hostages returned from Hamas, as well as revelations of corruption. Briefly put, desperate politicians and fanatics do desperate things, and when you're a nuclear state with one of the biggest armies in the world, then that can be very dangerous indeed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons to help us out on the algorithm. We've also now got the membership program open with some great perks for you to enjoy starting from just 99p. Hit the join button or follow the links in the channel description. If you'd like to make a one-off contribution, then please hit super thanks on the video or follow the link to our Buy Me a Coffee page where you can help to show solidarity and support the channel for just the price of a tasty hot beverage. All contributions are greatly appreciated. Thanks again everyone. My Left Eye will be seeing you soon.